Yo, what's happening? I'm just going to give some people some time to join in. Would you just let me know if the sort of stream quality, the audio, and the chart and that are all clear? Just let me know in the chat. There should be sound now. Yeah, I muted the mic just while I was busy with one or two things. Yeah, just let me know if everything is in line. It says on my end that the stream quality is excellent, so we shouldn't have any issues. Right. Great. Perfect. Thank you. So we're live for London's session this morning. What I want to do is just quickly let's have a look at all of these over here. Trying to take it to 4. So yesterday you would have seen that that sort of analysis that was dropped on gold played out to the absolute T, right? Where we managed to get below, sold off into equal lows. So that's great to see. I think looking at, let me just open up all these pairs quickly because I think pound yen kind of stands out the most at the moment. So possibly look at pound yen for the trading day today. Just have a look at euro yen. Right. Okay. Just move over to daily and then see. All right. How is everybody doing? Is everybody well? Last day of June, then we move into the second half of the year. Quite scary, right? Move over the daily over here as well. If I'm going to be honest, I'm quite struggling to, even look at pound dollar, pound yen, euro yen. And the reason being is it just does not move like gold. So yeah, I don't really focus on them too much. No, time is it's really not standing still. Just give me a second here quickly. We'll get to analysis shortly. Just bear with me, please. Gold seems to be experiencing some fairly crazy movement at the moment. Just want to, quite early as well. Right. Okay, we are almost there. Just please bear with me. Okay. Looking at gold, anticipating a sell. Not at the moment, no. I don't. I don't know if we're going to get a potential play today on gold. And the reason being is because of that second structural leg that we've now seen, be completed. And again, you'll know if you've been on the previous live streams, you'll know that within a tradable range, there are 3 structural legs, and only 2 of those structural legs are tradable. It's the initial break and then the continuation into equal lows or equal highs, depending on which way we're trading. So I'll break that down in a bit in terms of what I mean visually here on gold, and then that will kind of clear things up. What I'll do is I'll start with euro yen, pound yen, and pound dollar. We'll just quickly run through a brief analysis over there, and then once we're done, we'll move over to gold and we'll kind of dissect gold and have a more detailed and deeper look at gold and what we could potentially see today. I just want to quickly have a look at the economic calendar. I don't think let's see. So there's, what's that? Yeah, so we've got ADP, and that is tomorrow. Sorry. So today there's not much to really worry about on the fundamental side of things. So we're in the clear over there, so that's fine. Fundamental analysis is kind of out of the way, and there's not much more to it really. It's that straightforward in terms of what do we have coming out today, and is there anything that might just affect price movement if we are in a position with risk on the table, and there isn't. Okay, so that's fundamental analysis done. There's no real need to kind of look any further into that. So we can go straight into technical analysis. I'll start, like I said, on EJ. So if we have a look at EJ on the daily time frame, I think we are, obviously it goes without saying that we are intra-week and intraday bullish, right? You can see over the past 1, 2, 3, 4 days, we've had very strong buying. Price has now pushed into a critical zone. So effectively the first thing, the starting point is, let's identify our directional bias. Where is price trading? What momentum do we have? And we've identified that now, right, in terms of bullish. So that means we would ultimately be looking at potential buys, because again, we cannot trade against momentum. So that's the first thing. So we've identified, let's say, a directional bias. Now that directional bias, although that, we are bullish and we could potentially look at continuation to the upside, what stops us in our tracks there is the critical zone and where price is trading on the daily time frame. And when the next step is identifying our key areas, and you can see we identified this level here as our key area. That there is our critical resistance. Now, I also mentioned this in the last live stream I hosted last week for XNEXT Team Pro, and we kind of spoke about multi-time frame analysis, and I said the starting point is always the daily time frame, because we need to understand where price is on the daily. Are we trading within a critical, or are we trading in the middle of a range? Because if you are to drop straight down to the 4 hour, or the hourly, for example, and you forgot about the daily, you would not realize that price is trading at a critical zone on the daily, which means there will be a lot of friction over here, and we can see a period of lower time frame consolidation. So it's not as simple as a break of a minor resistance to continue, okay? Because when price trades within such a critical zone, we often do see a period of lower time frame consolidation and stalling. So with that being said, just to give context to it, buying in my point of view would be extremely aggressive, because again, the objective of trading is to buy low and sell high. So we would be buying high, buying straight into a resistance, which then lowers the probability of the setup naturally. Then in terms of selling, because now you'll say, oh, but Tyron, what about the flip side? Can we not look at potential sells because we should sell high? And yes, but I don't know if I'd be looking at sells today because price is currently rejecting this key area, but I need some more information. And like I said, after such a strong push into a key area, we will see, or more than likely see, a period of lower time frame consolidation, which will take some time. And then once we've got that period of lower time frame consolidation, it gives us more information, and it then gives us, or in the next few days, will give us a break of structure, right, where we can then look at the potential intraday, intra-week shift. Then if we go down to the 4 hour, right, and this is exactly what I am speaking about in terms of, we've got a key area that sits here just below the critical. Now, like I said, we're starting to form the structure, and we're starting to see this lower time frame consolidation, which is bound by the high over there and then the sort of low there. So I would like to see price almost move in this range, give us some more structure, right? And then break. Once we break that level, we then see the shift in momentum. And if that isn't clear to you, you can make use of a trend line, right? So once we break this level, we'll break the trend line, which then means we are breaking market structure, BOS. I'm sure you've seen BOS. So with that being said, we then break the structure, and we then see that shift come in, and that is where we can start looking at potential sells. But for now, sells are not on the table for me. And in terms of buying, I think again, I'm not too happy with buying here at the moment. I'll kind of need price to clear up a bit, because again, we're buying into resistance, so it does lower the probability of the setup for me personally, which again, I'm not all too happy with, because quality over quantity, rather than trying to trade every low probability setup, rather just wait for the highest probable play to surface. So that's pretty much EJ. I'm going to move over to GJ. GJ is effectively the same thing at the moment. We've had very strong buying over the past, or yesterday. I'm not entirely sure what caused that, but nonetheless, price has managed to break above this key area. So again, I'm not going to go through this in too much detail, because it's pretty much exactly the same as that of EJ. Remember, there is that direct correlation between the two. So what holds on EJ with regards to the daily pretty much holds here on GJ. So let's go straight down to the 4 hour. In terms of the 4 hour, so what is important here is, well, I just want to go back to the daily quickly, because this, although we're now looking at that wick high there, it's a little bit more complex. It isn't as straightforward as we would like this to be. And this is something that we need to take into account, because when identifying our critical zones, it's that wick region, but we cannot just focus on the most recent wick to our left-hand side. We've got to take the other price data and price action into account. And I'm referring to this here. So although this serves as our key area, you'll see just above that, we've got another key area, okay? And looking at that, kind of, does that bring about a potential fake out? A fake out to the upside. We break above the wick high to pull back slightly deeper into this zone here, to then get back below and sell off, especially after such a strong bullish push. Now, if you take note, a lot of individuals, or most supply demand traders, that is their supply zone. Okay, that is their supply zone. But now you can see, just by the horizontal key areas, be it resistance, now it kind of holds within the same region, right? So we've tapped into supply, effectively resistance, which we can sort of incorporate this entire zone. Is this where we see a shift? Now remember, I said that there is that direct correlation between GJ and EJ. Where is EJ trading at the moment? EJ is trading at a similar area, in a similar area, right? So going back to GJ quickly, you'll see pretty much same thing. Now, will I be looking at sells? No, I won't. I need to see more information. Price needs to tell me more. And I'd like to see lower time frame consolidation within the critical zone to then get that break of structure, to then shift the intraday, intra-week momentum, to then start selling off. So let's go to the 4 hour. You can see we are starting to consolidate at the moment with price finding a nice level of support over there. Again, we've found that resistance. So buying at the moment in terms of, break, retest to continue, buying against that rejection would be fairly aggressive and again, lower probability, especially, because we need to take and listen to price, because at the moment price is telling us that we're struggling. We are rejecting the upside, okay? We are rejecting the upside. So we need to kind of wait. And again, I need to see a bit more, some more information in terms of, this consolidation to then break, and that's where we get the shift. So I will keep monitoring this, but at the moment I am, I do have my reservation from a selling point of view, because I just think, number one, trading against intraday, intra-week momentum does not make sense at all. Number two, not all the criteria has been met in terms of, to meet the selling criteria. I do not have that consolidation range or that extended consolidation range to give me give me enough information to then get that shift in market structure, to then shift that, or the break in market structure to then shift the intraday, intra-week momentum, right? So I need more information here. At this point, I am going to leave price alone and let it be, and maybe come back to this bit later and pick it up from there, but at this point I'm not too interested. Over to GU, again, price consolidating. We're in quite a big consolidation range on the daily time frame, and you can see we are currently trading within a critical resistance. In terms of buying and selling, I'm not entirely sure. It's just, I think the only time I will look at potentially buying is with a break above to retest and continue. Okay, let's just have a look at what the lower time frames look like. Lower time frames don't look all too great. I think, again, that's very important. We need to break out or break above that area. In terms of selling, it's quite a mess at the moment. You could see the intraday momentum that is now coming through yesterday. So we do have that bullish market structure. So now with what I kind of broke down in terms of that shift and, using the trend line as confluence, so to say, you're now probably asking the question about, if we break there, can we not look at selling? Yeah, potentially, but if we go to the daily, do you want to be selling against that daily candle over there? I particularly don't. The only time I would start looking at sells again is once we're able to get below this region here. And again, like I said at the beginning of the webinar, when I just started the live stream, I said within a tradable range, there's 3 structural legs. Only 2 of those structural legs are tradable. Once those 2 legs have been traded, the tradable range becomes null and void, and it then just becomes consolidation. That has now taken place. All 3 of those legs have now taken place. So this entire range just becomes a consolidation range, right? And moving to the 4 hour, you can see it ain't all that clear. So for me personally, the highest probable play would be with a break above this area over here. And I will have to continue monitoring that. Again, price might just sit ahead of NFP on Thursday. So yeah, but I'll keep my eyes on this and see what we might get. Now, does that make sense? Are there any questions in the chat before we move over to gold? before we move over to gold. Can I create a poll in this chat? Like, is that possible? Yeah, there you go. So let's have a look. Okay, there's the poll. Let's see. Yeah. Let's. Can you please vote on that poll? Can you please vote? Then kind of like moving forward, I have a sort of indication. I would think that New York would be favored, just because, well, we'll see, but yeah. Is this recorded? Yeah, this will be recorded. Okay, let's move over to gold. So the analysis that was shared in the exclusive group yesterday played out to the absolute T, right? Let's quickly go down to the lower time frames. It was kind of this over here. There, okay, and then into equal lows. So the analysis was kind of, I mean, you can go back, for those that are in the exclusive group and the network, you'll have access to that analysis. You can go back and re-watch it, but I still said, I broke it down from the daily all the way down to the lower time frames and said break, retest to continue into equal lows, and that played out to the T. I see there were one or two of the network members who managed to get into shorts, so that's great. But that played out, yeah, beautifully. And then that brings me back, because at the beginning of this webinar, somebody asked, what am I looking at on gold? Could we look at continuation to the downside? Will we maybe see gold sell off again today? And just like I mentioned on GBP USD, if we have a look at gold and the higher time frame range, right? We've completed all three structural legs. We've completed the initial structural leg, which was this over. So let me just go back to the daily to break this down clearly, visually. So let's clear the charts. Right. So this here was the key area of which we then managed to break over there. Price managed to find support. Found support there. We rejected that price and we pulled all the way back up. So this becomes the tradable range for the second or the third leg down into equal lows. Now we'll move down to the 4 hour. So that becomes our tradable range, which is bound by two key areas. Okay, and like I said, within a tradable range, given market structure, there are only two legs that are tradable, because only two of those legs are trading with momentum. Only two are trading with the trend. Okay, so it's this one here before we got the break. So that would be the first potential play. The first leg. Second leg is the retest leg. Yes, we pulled up a bit higher and whatever, price is not perfect, market structure is not perfect, but that is the retest leg. That is not tradable because it's trading against momentum, counter trend trading. The third leg is equal lows, which was the setup that was shared yesterday. That is tradable because, again, we're trading with momentum, we're trading with the trend. Once those three structural legs have been completed, that range becomes null and void. There are no more tradable opportunities within that range. Why? Because now it becomes consolidation. So anything that you do, any setup you do try and take within that range becomes lower probability. And that does not make sense. And this is exactly why not every day is a trading day, right? Not every day is a trading day, because we need the days where price sets up. We need the days where there is insignificant price movement in line with the trading plan. And then we have the days where there is significant price movement with the trading plan. Today seems like an insignificant day, which means we're on the sidelines. So to answer the question, I think it was Francois who asked, to answer the question, I more than likely will not be looking at trading gold today. Kind of just wait for it to set up. Does that make sense? Is that clear? I think that's a perfect representation of market structure. And well, for me personally, my trading plan, the setups and the moves, and the structural legs that are tradable versus the structural legs that are not tradable. And this here is an absolutely perfect example of that in a real world, right? In a live market, which we've now seen. If we drop to the lower time frames, we've got some, I don't know what the cause of this is. It's fairly early for gold to be moving like that. So something must be going on. I'm not entirely sure what, but And then the daily is kind of, not really significant. I just want to move to the weekly because, so again, this is very important because if we have a look at the weekly quickly, you'll see that last week, a lot of rejection to the downside, massive wick, which tells us that sellers might be losing steam. The current weekly candle, we're on Tuesday, and look at the rejection that we're getting. Okay, majority of the rejection has come from this morning, the past hour. But where is price on the weekly? Price is trading at one massive, massive level. And this is important because we've had such a strong sell-off into this critical zone. So naturally, in time, somewhere along the line, we're going to have to react at this level. And that's why selling at the moment would be fairly aggressive, because all three structural legs on the lower time frame have been completed, which now makes it seem like we could be moving into that order accumulation phase. We could be moving into that consolidation range. Because remember what I said on one of the previous streams, the two signs of a potential shift in trend or trend reversal, wicks in rejection, of which we've now already got on the weekly. We've got wicks in rejection. The second sign is a double bottom. Let's just quickly go to the 4 hour. What do we have over here? We've got a double bottom, a 1 and a 2. Okay. This doesn't mean that we should be buying now, but it is an indication that we could, in the next few days, the next week, 2 weeks, see a shift take place. Because now if we go to the daily, what are we starting to see over here? Consolidation. Okay. So I think the only thing that does not support a potential shift is price managed to fetch a lower premium. Because usually if we are going to, that double bottom, usually if we're going to see a potential shift in trend, that double bottom or double top usually occurs at a higher or a lower price, depending on which direction we're looking at. So in this instance, that double bottom would have possibly occurred at a slightly higher price than the previous premium. But we've now fetched a lower premium, which means we're still, because we're still fetching lower premiums, we haven't quite yet shifted. But again, the only time we will know and see that shift come in is when price tells us via market structure. Okay. So if we are able to get back below on the lower time frames, if we are able to get back below this region here, then yes, we could very well see a potential sell-off and continuation to the downside. And then that would mean first target would sit at the flat psychological of 3.9 there, right? Flat psych of 3.9. So that there is the potential play on gold. But I need to see price clear that there, okay? I need to see price clear that. Does that make sense? Does that answer everybody's questions around gold? Quite a decent stream. Nice turn up this morning. I don't know. Let me ask a favor for those that are watching. I don't know. Just like take a photo of the stream and put on your Insta story and tag me so I can reshare it to mine. Start getting more individuals to show up to these things, right? If we break the highs, Jaden. So not necessarily, right? Not necessarily. That would be the highest probable play, yes. But I think, if we're going to see, let's just quickly go to the hourly. That's quite a candle. That anyway. If let's go back to the 4 hour quickly. Sorry. It would kind of, Jaden, it would be the break above the zone that those sells came off yesterday. So if we're able to get above this area here, then we could start looking at the shift come in. But I don't think that will take place today. Because again, I'll kind of need some more structure to form down here for us to for price to tell us, okay, we are actually going to, I don't think we're going to get a straight break and just fly to the upside, especially not today. Maybe with NFP, but yeah. Does that answer your question? And again, so now what's also important is, I also covered this on one of the live streams with XNS Team Pro, is technicals and fundamentals, and how they go hand in hand, and how the fundamentals serve as a catalyst to get price moving. And today is Tuesday, tomorrow's Wednesday, NFP's on Thursday. Where is price trading ahead of NFP, which is a major fundamental? Where is price trading ahead of NFP? We're trading at a critical support. Do you get what I'm saying? So is NFP going to come in as the catalyst to get that trend reversal? I mean, it could. Do you see where I'm going with that train of thought? So just quickly back to the poll. It looks like London session is preferred. Are there any other questions at all? We've been through quite a thorough analysis this morning. And in summary, I don't really see anything worthwhile at this point, especially not on EJ, GJ, GU. If anything, gold, but it won't be this morning. It'll be later this afternoon during New York. And I don't know if you saw that reel that I posted with gold's patterns. So, if you haven't seen that, maybe go and give that a watch, because that is quite insightful. And it happens time and time again. So it's something that you could very, very well add to your arsenal. Are there any questions? Like, do you want to light this chat up a bit? Anybody want to know anything? Got anything to say? Nothing? No, I did not. Will I be trading NFP? Yes, I will. We're hosting a live stream for NFP on Thursday. I'll be going into um, the XNS offices to host a live stream. Is anybody looking at anything else? Is anybody like traded? Anybody else? I mean, anything else? Like, have you started shifting focus to another pair, another commodity? No, are there no other questions? I suppose like everybody is probably busy. Um, Nothing at all. GJ and EJ, I'm kind of leaving at the moment. It's just, yeah, we're trading at quite a critical zone on the daily time frame, so it doesn't really make sense for me to look at anything at this point. But I went through a very extensive analysis on both of those pairs at the beginning of the live. So when this wraps up, you can go back and have a look or have a watch. It's not just analysis, there's like quite important value and education within that. So yesterday at 3 o'clock, I wanted to break off on the one outside. No. Yeah, Jen. So I think as you know, given that you're part of the network, or all the network members should know the whole impulse entry situation. So that's naturally how we trade gold, is via impulse entries, because just waiting for candle closes is just it's ridiculous, because you end up with such a wide stop loss. And it then obviously affects the size of your position and the risk reward. So with gold, naturally, so I trade impulsively, and I think that's something that we can maybe unpack a bit more. I'm going to be bringing a lot of live streams in that back. So yeah. Okay, but I think, we've been here for 41 minutes. We've gone through an extensive analysis on the majors that I focus on, at least, EJ, GJ, GU, and gold. Everything's been laid out clearly. I don't really see anything highly probable at this point, which kind of means that the morning will probably be an easy one. And return for New York session. But yeah, I don't know if there aren't any other questions, then I'll probably just wrap this up here, and then we can kind of pick up a bit later and see where we are. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the live. I think there was a lot of value that was shared. Yeah, guys, thank you for your time. But I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I've got a few other things to go and do. Otherwise, have a great day today. Be safe, be responsible, trade with discipline. And for those in the network and the exclusive group, I will see you all just now. I will keep you posted. For the rest of you, please have a great day, and I'll see you in the next live stream. But I think for now, that's it from my side. All right, guys, have a good one. Cheers.